Seattle Seahawks, that defense looks as if it's on the mend, hitting their stride at the right time. The team won 3 straight games, holding their opponents to season lows in points and yards, including yesterday against the Philadelphia Eagles. Chip Kelly's high-powered offense held to 45 plays, 139 yards, and 82 passing yards.
That's a really good football team we played, and they showed it. They brought a great game plan. They played really well in their zones, really well in their man. And they took away a lot of opportunities, and then when opportunities presented themselves, I missed a couple balls downfield, and, they made us pay.
Quarterback and receiver not on the same page. Riley Cooper complaining a little bit after Sunday's loss. That loss snaps the Eagles' 10-game win streak at home. However, the game was official because Stephen A. was there. It was a legitimate game, right?
It was good to see the crew.
Yeah.
The reigning, defending Super Bowl champions. They appear to be on a mission, Skip. I don't see them losing to anybody the rest of this regular season, at the very least. I see the Green Bay Packers as the only legitimate team standing in their path. The Philadelphia Eagles clearly are on another level, a notch below the Seattle Seahawks, primarily because of Mark Sanchez. Obviously going up against Pete Carroll, his college coach at USC, did not help because Pete Carroll knows him. I don't want to hear a damn word from Riley Cooper. How about getting open? This guy can't separate from defenders. He's dropped a few passes over the last several weeks. We don't want to hear from Riley Cooper.
But you're a fan of his.
Well, I wouldn't go that far.
Well, you've complimented him many times.
Well, I've complimented his abilities. I think that he's a decent football player, but clearly against the Seattle Seahawks yesterday, that was not the case. Clearly watching him over the last several weeks drop his share of passes, that has not been the case. And I don't want to hear a word from him about complaining about anything. He needs to get open because he's not getting open. It's just that simple. Mark Sanchez was putrid, 10 of 20 for 96 yards. Chip Kelly didn't know what to do with this guy. He seemed a bit lost, a bit discombobulated, clearly got outplayed by Russell Wilson, who made every big play imaginable. The way he shook Fletcher Cox in his boots, that was just hilarious to see him go tumbling down the way that he did when he tried to sack him. But I just look at Seattle right now, and I just say to myself, they're just on another level from everybody else outside of Green Bay in the NFC conference. You could just see them coming. And speaking to these guys after the game, particularly the defensive line with Avril and Bennett and those boys, they want their props. Defense is not, they love the Legion of Boom. They respect the Legion of Boom, but it's not just about the Legion of Boom. It's about them too. And they want to make sure everybody's on notice about that. I believe them. Everybody's on notice. That defensive line is no joke either. But in the end, you're going up against an inferior Philadelphia Eagles team, which I think it was emblematic of all of that when they had a 4th and 11, Skip Bayless. They were down by 10 points with a little over 4 minutes left, and Chip Kelly elected to punt, basically they're just waving the white flag, as they wrote in the Philadelphia Inquirer, my former newspaper, and essentially conceding defeat. You don't see that too often from a Chip Kelly team. I saw it yesterday, and as a result, it's on to Dallas. Obviously, the Seattle Seahawks, that they pose a different kind of problems on the defensive side of the ball anyway than the Dallas Cowboys, and that's something we'll talk about a little bit later on in the show. But the Eagles got exposed yesterday a little bit. You get in their face. Obviously, Matthews and Macklin. Matthews needs to be a more integral part of this team scheme with Macklin because he's bigger. Obviously, he's more physical, and he has the abilities that he has. I think he's better than Riley Cooper, and I think he should be targeted more than Riley Cooper. And I think they need to look at that. For some reason, they weren't able to use Sproles, and LaShawn McCoy only had 17 carries for just 50 yards. I wasn't too surprised by that. I know Seattle, with their speed, was going to shut that down. In the end, again, the better team won. Seattle is coming. Their defense is back, at least to a strong degree. Maybe not quite to the level they were last year, but certainly very, very close. And being in that locker room afterwards, seeing their swag, their confidence, Skip, they believe that no one wants to truly, truly mess with them. And I'm not going to lie to you. I don't blame them for feeling that way.
Neither do I. I said before the year they would win the NFC, and I believe that more than ever, even if they have to go play the bad man in that bad place that is Lambeau Field. Seattle's going to win the NFC, and it looks like they'll have to go to Green Bay to do it. I believe this team could win at Green Bay. I thought New England could win at Green Bay, and I think I'd like to see best 2 out of 3 in that one. But in this case, this was a mismatch yesterday. And back to Kerry's question, about Seattle. It wasn't anything about Philadelphia. Mark was just completely over.
We got to stop down. We're having a technical difficulty here. So we're going to take a break. We'll be right back in a few moments. Skip Bayless. Yes, welcome back to First Take. We had some audio issues, but we're up and running. We were talking about the Seattle Seahawks versus the Philadelphia Eagles yesterday. They lost the game 24-14. Skip Bayless, your take on the game.
We had microphone issues with me because I blew out my microphone in our opening segment.
By blowing him away.
Yes,
you blew
that's
Steve
what I did.
away.
So now it's fixed.
Yes.
Blow me away.
Now our audience can actually hear what I'm saying.
Okay.
Back to the point. Yesterday was completely about a Seahawks team that is going to win the NFC. I said it before the year. They have come back together even without Golden Tate and Percy Harvin. The defense is flying the way it was flying last year. They are on a Super Bowl roll. And if it requires them to go beat that bad man in that bad place that is Lambeau Field, I believe this team can pull that off. I got a great kick out of what Michael Bennett said after the game about one Mark Sanchez. He was trying to impersonate a good quarterback, tell the Philadelphia police to put out an APB for Mark Sanchez. Because I told you before the game, he is the ultimate accident waiting to happen. And what happened with 9 minutes and 17 seconds left in the game? Marshawn Lynch fumbled, which was uncharacteristic, obviously, as he's fighting for more yards. So all of a sudden, your Eagles had a shot. Very first play. Yeah. Against the wind, floater, underthrown, intercepted, ball game. Emotionally, psychologically, ball game. And I also found it quite interesting that our buddy Bobby Wagner, we had on the show back in the summertime when we were in L.A., said after the game that that offense is kind of predictable. Wow. Now, we know the Seahawks, when they beat you, they talk about it. And they were really, really talking about it because they deserve to talk about it. And Michael Bennett concluded, we shut down McCoy, and that was pretty much the game. And it was, because LaShawn McCoy, he goes 50 yards on 17 carries. 10 of them came on one carry. He just couldn't get out of his blocks, get out of his own way most of the time, ducking and darting and going nowhere fast.
Too much speed on Seattle's defense.
It's just too good. Everybody was covered, almost every play. So I felt sorry for Mark Sanchez in this game. But again, big picture, this was just a mismatch. They would have beaten anybody, any place, any time yesterday. So I don't think less of Philadelphia. In fact, I thought Philly's defense hung in pretty well against a Russell Wilson who just keeps making plays. He's not great throwing it from the pocket, but you give him a little bit of time or let him escape a little bit, and he will kill you just with his play making. So this is a good football team, and there's no shame in what happened to the Eagles.
Well, first, there's no shame to some degree anyway, but I would say that, Russell Wilson continues to impress, deserves a lot of credit. But this defense is on another level. But I'm not willing to say, number one, that they would have beaten that bad man that is Aaron Rodgers yesterday. And I'm not willing to say.
Remember what Aaron Rodgers did in the opener at Seattle?
Well, let me say this.
Remember what you said the next day?
That's right. But I'm still ticked off that he didn't at least challenge Richard Sherman. I mean, I just think there's no excuse for that. When you're that great, you go up against somebody who's one of the best. You challenge that person. You don't sit there and run from him, which I thought is the only time in Aaron Rodgers' career I had a problem with him. With that being said, I'm willing to concede that you're absolutely right about Seattle if the road to the Super Bowl goes through Seattle. But if Seattle has to go through Lambeau Field, I'm not ready to say that Seattle, I'm sorry, don't be mad at me, fellas, but I'm not willing to say that it's a definite that the Seattle Seahawks will beat Aaron Rodgers. And let's pump the brakes just a little bit here. Philadelphia Eagles were clearly overmatched. There is no doubt about that. But let's understand that there is an ocean-wide gap between the talents of Mark Sanchez and that of that bad man, Aaron Rodgers, who, when all is said and done, may go down as the greatest quarterback we have ever seen. Mark Sanchez, and I mean no disrespect, because I think that he could start for a few teams in the NFL, and I think that, he didn't have a great game yesterday, but again, he was going up against the best. They're the reigning defending Super Bowl champions, okay? But Mark Sanchez cannot shine Aaron Rodgers' shoes. Not even in the same vicinity. So when you sit there and you speak with such disrespect talking about they were in over their heads. I'm just saying.
I'm only respecting the Legion of Boom. Did the Boomers hear what this man just said about you, Cam Chancellor, and you, Richard Sherman? Did you just hear what this man just said?
I'm not so sure. I said if it's in Seattle, I'm picking Seattle. But if you got to go to Lambeau Field to get it done, and by the way, Skip Bayless, I told them that to their face yesterday. If they got to go to Lambeau Field, I'm not so sure.
Good. I'm glad you told them.
This is Aaron Rodgers
that
we are talking about.
You keep talking.
I'm just saying, let's understand. It is about the greatness of Aaron Rodgers.
Wait, it was the same guy who on opening Thursday night, he wouldn't even throw in Richard Sherman's direction?
I cannot defend.
Where's number 25? I can't throw it there.
I cannot defend what I saw from Aaron Rodgers on opening night.
But you don't expect him to do that again.
Exactly, because of what happened on opening night. As a matter of fact, Aaron Rodgers very well might be the only quarterback in the NFL who could beat the Legion of Boom right now.
Well, he might get a shot on his hallowed